They are non-profit organizations.
Oh yeah. Someone told me that when I worked at Nordstrom.
Google right now.
Yeah. They say, you know what?
Non-profit organization.
You want to hear something else funny? If the Super Bowl comes to your city, it's not a great thing. They don't pay taxes onto the. It's not a great thing.
That's part of the negotiation.
Yes.
We're not paying taxes.
Yes. So it's something like the Olympics. It's almost like the Olympics.
But
the Olympics.
Somebody got to pay for that.
Yeah.
It's you and me.
Yes, indeed.
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
You know, Lamar Jackson. You from Baltimore?
I am, but please do. I'm a fair weather guy, man. You know the stats more than I. Is he still fumbling the bag?
If I'm Lamar Jackson,
okay.
Yes, he fumbled the bag at the beginning because he didn't want to hire an agent.
Right.
He wants to be him and his mom want to handle the whole situation, right? But that's neither here or there.
Right.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He's the only person in the history of NFL to be MVP of the league.
Yep.
Unanimous.
Yep.
Which means you got all the votes. Nobody voted against you.
All 50.
All 50 votes. Not Peyton Manning, not even Tom Brady. No, I can't say. I can't say G because the Christians.
Okay.
They may come at me, man. So it comes from culture,
Yeah.
They come at me. Not Mahomes.
Right.
No Mahomes. No the Drew Brees.
Right.
And you name it, you got it. Lamar Jackson is the only one to get all 50 votes.
Right.
50-0. And then he has no drama off the field.
Right.
And then now he's sitting back and watching. He's like, wait a minute. How did Deshaun Watson get 230 something guaranteed? And then Russell Wilson gets 200 million. He's so hot up.
Now we got to talk a little about Russell Wilson.
Let's talk about the Braves, the appearance.
Oh.
Man.
Lamar, don't touch a football. Don't even go to the training ground until you get your money. Get your money, man.
And be mentally prepared to get drugged through the mud. They're going to drug you through the mud.
They have.
Oh yeah.
All these owners got money. They
definitely.
Kyrie Irving.
Yes. Okay.
Kyrie Irving has got his fro. I see he got a fro. He got a 96 look, man.
Excellent.
That Black Panther look, man. I say Black Panther. I can't take it back.
No, it's all good.
But it looks nice and neat.
Ain't nothing wrong with saying Black Panther.
But the Mavericks, Kyrie is doing his thing. But the problem with Kyrie is Cleveland blew it up. Went to Boston, blew it up. Went to Nets, blew it up.
Yeah.
Now he's in Dallas. Well, let's see what happens, man.
Right. But you said they have some good chemistry there, right?
Oh, him and Luka, yeah, they're doing their thing. All right, we're done with sports, man.
All right.
Because I can go on with sports. You know me and sports, man. I can go.
It's all
I ain't
good.
even talking about soccer yet.
No problem. We're going to dive into that, and then at the end we're going to let you know something special that we're going to have going on with Caesar. But okay, so let's switch over to current events that I saw come through the pipeline this week, which was kind of hilarious. So legislation in D.C. passed to kind of water down some crime with murder, armed carjacking, some other things. Mayor Bowser tried to veto it, but the council overrode her veto.
Tried to veto it?
Yeah, she tried to nip that in the butt because the legislation that passed would have
What are the legislation? What are the
laws were passed would have.
Explain to the people.
Okay, so say for example you driving your nice.
Give an example.
You driving your nice Maserati,
Okay.
and a criminal comes and tries to take it from you, right? And they take it from you, right?
That's what boy that.
I know. It's Bond.
Yeah.
But
Bond.
So let's say a villain comes and tries and takes it from you.
The Maserati.
Maserati,
Okay,
a carjacking with a gun.
All right. Okay.
In the past, they may have gotten 10 years.
In the past.
Now, allegedly, with this new legislation, they wouldn't go to jail. They may get probation.
Oh.
So that was passed.
Oh, and the mayor tried to veto it.
And it was overrode. Oh, it was overridden. Okay.
I'm with the mayor.
I'm with the mayor too.
I'm with the
But
mayor.
check this out. Guess who stepped in?
Who?
The federal government. So
The United States.
Yes.
The United States
Yes.
government.
Yes. Yes.
And what it say?
Basically, we live here too. We're affected by this crap, and we not playing these games. So they nipped that legislation in the butt.
Because they want them in the Maseratis.
Right. So what? Exactly. So what I learned this week.
Taxation without representation.
So keep in mind, DC, you're not a state. You know, the district, and when the adults want to smack you around because you're not following along, you're doing something too outlandish. I really saw who was in power.
I got a question for you. I think DC should not be a state.
I could understand that.
I said it, and I tell you why. Okay, it's hot.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because every state has 2 senators.
Yes.
I think some states should have more than 2, but I digress. But DC is the federal government capital.
Right.
So everybody comes to a neutral ground. It's a neutral ground.
Right.
Because if it was a state, then the senators from that state have an advantage for every bill that's passed. You know?
I understand.
I will try to push a bill towards my state.
I understand.
But if it's a neutral ground, when we come here, let's have this dance. Because technically, if you think about Congress, your job is to come here and vote. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing staying in DC? You should go back to your state and represent people who elected you.
Remotely, back in your state.
Elected you to come and represent them. So you only come to DC to vote on a bill or negotiate a bill. Otherwise, every other day, go back to your state.
So it's the Switzerland of the United States.
You see?
Yeah, this great stuff coming in.
You see James Bond?
Yes, indeed.
The Switzerland of the United States. That's DC. So I like how it is. Now the only thing is, the citizens of DC, they need a break. They're being taxed too much. They should have a tax break. I think DC should be like Delaware, Texas, Florida. There's no state tax. You only pay federal. That's it. I think that's fair.
Okay.
If you live in DC, you should not pay DC tax. You can pay federal tax, like Texas, Florida, Delaware, all other states.
Right.
DC should be, if you live in DC, don't pay DC tax.
Right.
That way, there's no taxation without representation.
Absolutely.
You don't pay taxes in DC unless it's federal tax.
Right.
That's only fair.
Right. Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Well, I digress because that's complicated, and I'm a Baltimore resident, so I just come and laugh, and they call But anyway, on a serious note,
but in Baltimore, you have 2 senators.
Yeah, we do. In Maryland, we have 2 senators, and then in a House, I don't know, House, I can't remember how many we have representation there.
Yes.
But with DC, this is my perspective on DC. They enjoy the benefits of the federal government being here, as far as with some budgetary things not being balanced and things of that sort, and multiple police. I consider DC like more of a police state. You go in the wrong section of DC, you got DC cops, you got the Secret Service, you got Capitol Police.
You're right.
You got federal.
I see your point.
Transit, everything.
You're right.
You got everything, multiple levels.
And Secret Service, though.
Exactly. Secret Service, yeah. And
you're right.
It's the land of spending other people's money. You get that sense.
You're right.
Like when I go to Baltimore, you can tell there's a balanced budget that has to happen here. Some things can't get paid for.
That's a very good point.
I sense that
DC.
when on the side note, I drive
like
Uber. That. I drive Uber sometimes, and I pick people up from the Capitol. I had a great experience this week. I picked this guy up who was worked for military. Well, he didn't tell me the name of the company, but they produce weapons. And he said an interesting perspective on, about when there are Republican leadership and when there's Democratic leadership, they tend to, on democratically led governments, they tend to budget for like just status quo,
Yes.
not build out. But the interesting thing that's going on now, the supply chain isn't built for all of these orders that they're getting. So this is not necessarily a good time for them.
Okay.
With all of the weapons and stuff going to Ukraine and the orders, they're not built. They don't have the infrastructure to produce. So
To keep up with the
exactly demand.
I got you.
And it's not necessarily a good time for them.
Okay.
So they're not laughing all the way to the bank, because one of my discussion with the gentleman, I thought they were laughing all the way to the bank, and that's not the case.
He said no.
He said no, because they don't have.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised too, but I digress. That's what I had to say about DC. I love driving in DC. I loved it.
But I tell you one thing,
Go
though.
ahead.
DC being a police state, it makes sense. Because if they're not a state,
Right.
and we all agree that the capital,
Yeah.
and also at the same time the federal hub,
Yeah.
then you have to have a police state.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be protected. You got
Yeah,
people.
protect
Yeah, you have the leadership
the
here.
assets
Yeah,
of the
the
government.
leadership here. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, you got the White House, you got the
Absolutely.
Capitol, you got everything here. And now, I'm not saying, like Cat Williams said, I'm not saying the United States is the greatest country in the world. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying the United States is the greatest country in the world.
It is. And I
You know?
definitely agree.
And the capital is DC,
Yeah.
so it makes sense to have
Yeah.
all these.
Yeah, the layers. Yep. Yeah, the layers. Yep. I definitely agree.
Yes.
So what's next up?
Your favorite topic, man? Who's
And I think Russ, he's off the scene, but
Yeah.
Russ gave me some information to
Give me
look up
some-
with my man Sam Bankman-Friedman.
Exactly.
And yeah, and the house
That's
of
very topic.
cards are steadily collapsing on him.
The sleazebags, man.
As it's no honor amongst thieves. So what we're saying now is everybody cop and please and ready to talk. So some additional people in their team are taking plea agreements and really expressing what was really going on. And you know, I had an interesting conversation with my father, because he still watches the news through traditional, you know, MSNBC, CNN. And I was explaining to him.
Does he watch Fox?
No, he hates Trump and he hates Fox.
But he has to watch Fox too.
Fox to him is like taking what is it, poison, drinking the
Okay.
yeah.
The chalice.
Yes,
The
yes.
chalice.
So, but I explained to him what Sam Bankman-Fried did, and he was like, the way they portray him on like MSNBC is it's like a Bill Murray type of goofball.
Yeah.
Not really knowing what he did.
No, that guy. You know,
He
why,
knew
right?
exactly what he was doing.
You done his research on him.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. He took people's money that wasn't supposed to be switched around, and yeah.
Calling it the greatest fraud in history.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
And
The greatest fraud
yeah.
in history.
And what was funny, I heard he really put my man from the Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, in a pickle.
Oh.
Because Kevin O'Leary is a pundit on CNBC sometimes, and
Yes.
he kind of steered investors, along with
Yes.
other people, but he steered investors to invest. He vouched for it without actually saying he was a paid
He's a
spokesman.
platform and
Yes.
he's an authority.
Yes.
People follow him.
Yeah, people follow him, and he's on Shark Tank, so
Yes.
people give him that stage. But he was on the news talking about